Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hello and welcome back. I am Amber Jones, and I'm here with my co-host, Kristen Murray and Cindy Murray.
Hello.
That was very in sync. Okay, guys.
At least it wasn't 98 degrees.
Hi. You're punny. Well, well, if you are just now tuning into this crazy podcast,
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
I'm not
right,
crazy,
right,
you're
right,
crazy.
right. We are three women that like to talk about everything.
Anything.
Yeah, anything, everything.
And nothing at all.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Some of that too. Yeah. A lot of that too.
Introverts and extroverts. Well, so this week we are talking about travel destinations for a literature lover.
Yay!
And we all love literature and we all love travel. So, you just got to put them together. And that doesn't
Any
mean
excuse to travel.
Yeah, any excuse to travel. And that doesn't mean take your books with you, which you should
I do
take
that
you
too.
should take your books with you. But travel destinations for a literature lover doesn't mean take your books with you to the beach. It means go to actual literary destinations.
You should start off with the place you went and ate at recently.
Right. So recently, you know what, brain? Recently, my husband and I went to we went to Houston for the weekend, and just randomly we were looking for places to eat, and there is a Hobbit Cafe in downtown Houston.
What?
Yeah. So it is a Lord of the Rings themed cafe.
Cool.
So we went and we ate Hobbit food. It had like a big round door that you walk through, and there's a golem sitting in the corner when you walk in.
Did you have first breakfast, second breakfast, or 11sies? Or
We had dinner.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But my goodness, yeah, we should have gone there for first breakfast and second breakfast. Yeah, and everything on the menu was Lord of the Rings themed.
Wow.
That's super cool. Like, what did you eat?
I kind of had like a mashup food. It was like I had a chicken curry salad, and on the menu it's called the Elven King's Rings, which is 3 mini croissants with curry chicken salad.
Yum.
Of course, you could choose between chicken salad, tuna salad, or tabbouleh.
Oh.
And so I chose the curry chicken salad, and he asked me instead of the croissants, I could get a wrap. So I got that in a wrap
Okay.
instead of the Elven Rings.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Jason had one of their burgers, and he had the
He
fire.
always gets burgers.
He does always get a burger. He had the Fires of Mount Doom burger.
Oh, goodness. It was hot, huh?
Yes, it was chorizo with hatch queso,
Wow.
guacamole, pico, sauteed jalapenos, serranos, and cilantro.
Yum.
Nice.
Yeah,
That does
so
sound
it
good, though.
it was a little spicy.
I bet.
Yeah, and we got some lemonade from the Shire to drink.
Aw.
Yeah. Mine was blueberry lemonade from the Shire.
Okay.
And we sat out on the porch because it was a nice day, and they had like neighborhood cats.
Oh.
So they had like a couple of cats that they feed. So we almost brought a cat home. And
you don't need another cat, Amber.
and I named the cat. They didn't have him named, and so I said, "Well, the cat's named Samwise now." So
Aw.
yeah. And there was a little boy. He really wanted to pet the cat, but every time he walked near the cat ran away. But then the cat would come back and let me pet him, and then the little boy would get down and he would start creeping towards the cat, and it was really funny.
So, and everything was like decor.
Yeah, it was
popping.
all like green, like you're in the Shire, and it was all like circular. Well, not the whole building was circular, but everything, like, there
All the
was like
doorways
circular
and-
paint
Uh-huh.
around the doorways to make it look like
Uh-huh.
a big Hobbit door.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so they had Lord of the Rings paraphernalia, Lord of the Rings posters,
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings figurines sitting everywhere. It was all Lord of the Rings.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot of fun. And we were just looking at cool things to do in Houston, and so we ran across this art studio also with like big presidential heads that were just kind of sitting around everywhere. And it was the guy that did the big Sam Houston statue
Oh,
outside of
yeah.
Houston. Yeah.
Down at Huntsville.
Yeah.
Huntsville. Yeah.
So that was fun, and we ended up driving by that on the way home, and we
Mhm.
were going to stop, but it was dark.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my most recent. And I was sitting here like I was looking up online literary travel to make like a literary travel bucket list
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And I was looking to see if there was anything like just specifically in Texas. I mean, other than like random themed cafes, there really isn't anything specifically.
We don't have a lot of famous authors from here.
Yeah, the only thing that they have on that I'm finding is just like
My
the.
mom's like, I beg to differ. She's like, there's.
Well, I mean,
got
there
to be-
are famous authors
Yeah.
from Texas.
Larry Murtry,
He wrote The Last Picture Show, right?
Last Picture Show.
So the filming
terms-
locations for the movie The Last Picture Show were in Archer City, Texas.
Yes, they were.
So that would be a
some of-
literature destination.
Yes,
in
it
Texas.
is. And, well, sort of. Yes and no, because really that's that. It was shot in Archer City, Texas, but that was the movie, not the book.
Yeah, but the
So-
author. I mean, you could like make a case
Well,
for
he
that the
is-
author
he
is
is-
from Texas.
Is
Yeah,
the story
he
based
is
in
from
Texas?
I don't know. It's been so long since I watched that movie. My mother,
Because it's kind of like
my mother
Forks,
loved-
Washington.
yeah, my mother loved
Well-
that movie, and some of her relatives were actually extras in that movie because that's the area where they
Well,
were from.
Larry McMurdy is actually from Archer City, Texas, and I
Okay.
think he.
Okay.
So I think he wrote
Okay.
about Archer City
Okay,
because he's
Right.
from Archer City. So
Okay.
they filmed it in Archer City. So
Right.
that would be a literary
okay.
destination.
Well, yeah. I think that movie theater is still there.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
it is. I had some students a few years ago when I worked in Kroll. They went to a theater camp in Archer City
Uh-huh.
at the
Oh, cool.
Last Picture Show Theater.
Well, and he also wrote Terms of Endearment, which
Oh,
also
really?
became a movie.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And was it based in I don't know where
I
it
don't
was
know if
based
that
at.
one was based in Texas or not.
But it had that. I was wondering if it was based in the Houston area because Jack Nicholson played the retired astronaut. But I may be wrong about that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't even realize. I don't know. I've only seen Terms of Endearment one time, but I have been to Archer City.
Oh, I've been through Archer City a lot. Well, Archer City's
Well,
not
I
far
mean,
from where you grew
Yeah,
up.
I know
so-
it's not far from where I grew
Right,
up. So
right.
yeah, I have been to Archer City. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there are some famous authors from Texas. Anne Rice went to college in Texas.
Okay.
Oh,
I
really?
guess,
Huh.
yeah, she went to. I believe she went to Texas Woman's University.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah, it was like the one famous person that went to my alma mater.
Besides you and Ashley.
Oh,
Right,
yeah,
right.
right.
Y'all
yeah.
will be famous someday.
Yes.
One day when I'm a famous whatever.
But really, if you're talking travel destinations based on literature, when you mentioned this topic, the first thing I thought of was that failed planned trip to Boston.
Yeah,
Because
Salem.
right, to Boston and Salem, because there's so many authors whose homes are in that area,
Mhm.
and different, like Walden's Pond and
Yeah.
things like that. That there's a lot to go see in that area. I
Well,
mean,
it's
from a
it's
lot of
not a failed trip. It's just a
no, it's a
shelved.
failed planning, is what I
Yeah.
said. We
It
failed.
wasn't failed planning.
Well.
We had great plans.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, we had great plans. It just
It's
we
shelved.
had
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
accept shelved plan. I will
Mhm.
accept that. Yeah.
yeah. So
I
It's on
still
the
wanna
TBR
go.
list.
Yeah.
right on the TB.
RV.
Yeah,
TB
To be
TBRV.
read and visited. Yes.
So true.
So I mean that one is definitely one I would still like to do. Um,
A latent bachelorette trip. No.
right.
Well, I guess Martha was like our bachelorette kind of trip.
That's what we wound up doing instead.
Yeah.
So see, it got shelved for something else, and I was trying to
Which
think
was-
if there was any kind of literature tie-in with our Marfa trips, but I don't.
Well, I mean, if you count art literature and
art, well,
No, that's
yeah,
not literature.
that's not literature.
That's
yeah.
art.
It's art.
Well, okay,
so it
so
became
there
an art
was,
trip instead of a literature trip. But
yeah, and then there was like the movie that they filmed down there, but that
Right.
really wasn't literature either.
no. So one of the places I was thinking, like Stephen King. He used to be one of my favorite authors when I
Mhm.
was younger, and I read a lot of his work. And
So
he
Maine.
always has a
Yeah,
lot of
they're all
stuff
set
in
in
Maine,
Maine.
Everything's in Maine.
or Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah, Boulder, Colorado, the Overlook Hotel.
the
That's
Overlook
actually
Hotel,
a place.
The,
Yeah, it is actually a place.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's on my list of like places, my bucket list of literature places that I want to go.
Right.
The Overlook Hotel.
Well, and the the stand, the people who survived, the
Yeah, they were
survivors
in
all wound
Boulder-
up
Boulder,
in
Colorado.
Boulder. So
Oh, and then they were also in Vegas. So we
they
did
were
go
in
to Vegas. So
well, we did go to Vegas. Yes, we
go to
did.
Vegas. I'm
Uh,
sure there's lots
There's
of literature.
probably a literature.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. We did our own Fear and Loathing trip in Las Vegas.
What
did we
happened
not?
in Vegas stayed in
Yeah,
Vegas.
yeah.
Amber.
So, but we did do it. We did the Fear and Loathing.
It
It was more like Fear and Loathing Uber, but not.
but there, I mean, those are two primary examples that I think of a lot. Now there's, what about like the Outlander?
Oh, now,
Oh,
now, like
yes,
going
because that house that his family
Yes,
lives in is an actual house there.
yes. What is that name of that?
But yeah, like
Lollybrook.
Yeah,
Lollybrook.
Yeah, going there, like that would be, and then New Zealand, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the
London,
movie.
Harry
Lord
Potter.
of the Rings is not set
because you
in-
can't visit Middle Earth.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
visit Middle Earth, but you can go to the movie film destination.
But we're not talking about film destinations. We're talking about literature. The film destinations is a totally different episode,
So
and I'd
here's
love to
my
do that
question, though, because Amber's got the film part looped in. Forks, Washington is where Bella and the
But
Twilight
Cullens live.
series,
Twilight
yeah.
is
Right.
set
My
in Forks.
question, though, is that although the books were really popular, would people have been so obsessed with Forks, Washington had the movies not existed?
Oh no,
No.
Yeah.
no, that put Forks, Washington on the map. Like now it's
Yeah,
a travel
it's
destination.
a huge travel destination now.
because of the
yes.
movies, though.
That's what I'm saying.
But the books
Not the-
too. The books.
I don't
were
think so
like-
because of the
No.
books. I don't think so
The-
because of the books.
So there is a little level of like the niche group of people who love the books that would go visit when they're
just to see what it looked like, yeah.
Well,
But-
it's like
but maybe
Mystic
not
Falls
necessarily-
for Vampire Diaries because
right.
people would never go
the
there.
true
without-
the true fans would go visit
Yeah.
something like
well, okay, you've got Anne Rice and New Orleans. Hello.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that is when I went to New Orleans a few years
that.
ago.
You did everything
I
vampire.
did
that you could.
everything vampire
Right.
in New Orleans. So
Right.
everything Anne Rice. And then of course, which is a TV show, I did the what is it called? American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
But I did all of the vampire destinations in New Orleans,
Right.
which by extension was Vampire Diaries originals, like their filming locations. But I did go see the Anne Rice House in New
Uh-huh,
Orleans, which
uh-huh.
is a literature destination.
That is, yes.
And then I also went to the filming locations
Okay.
for the movie.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's like movies and literature are kind of like simultaneous to me
Because if they turned it into a movie, you're gonna watch it.
yeah, or
Well,
they also wrote a script.
Yeah.
So that's literature.
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
It's a stretch.
I
I call it a stretch.
well,
Yeah. And that's
know.
why, and that is why this is a podcast of three women with three
With,
different ideas.
Different
well,
opinions.
I
Different
mean, I
opinions,
did
you know.
go to film school and everything like
Yeah.
that and write film scripts. So to me, it's literature. Because
Well,
I do
but
have
that would
written
be
film
saying
scripts.
technical writing is literature as well.
Well,
so
it is technically.
uh,
So are
Technically.
legal documents.
Yeah, right,
Well,
right.
Nope.
You know what? I guess
That
I
would be-
write
that
a
would
little
be
bit of
CVS
everything.
receipt is
these
literature.
these notes that I'm writing
If you
here.
read it, it is literature. You know what? I can turn anything into blackout poetry, and I proved that to my students.
With a
I turned
CVS
a
receipt? No.
Yes, no, I turned a receipt into blackout poetry. So you can turn anything into literature. You know, like if you want to get technical,
I guess that means like everything's a song too. So you know.
Yeah.
you can
anything
put
sing it.
anything to music. You can
Yeah.
sing a CVS receipt, and it's a song.
Oh yeah, yeah. True that. True that.
Thank you. Come again.
That was an opera.
Yeah.
I
Which
not,
mean,
a well,
you're-
not a well done one, but
at least y'all understand my point, like where
Yeah.
my brain is going.
I
with
I
all of
do
this.
understand where you're going with it, but to me, a literature destination is going to be either the place where the book was
Written?
written, or the home
Setting
of
in
the,
the book?
author, or the setting of the
Okay.
book. So
Mhm.
that to me is a literature
Because when you're
destination.
standing in that space, you can understand the author or the story better.
right,
Yeah,
right.
well,
That's
like
the
you
fun
know,
part.
like because okay, so what is her name? She wrote The Outsiders. Essie.
Yes, Essie Hinton.
You go to her house in Oklahoma City, where it's a small town, Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City,
Mhm.
but where she wrote The Outsiders, and it's about small town
Right.
Oklahoma. You
Right.
get a sense of like,
Right.
hey, this is what it was like back in, and that is a major literary destination. Her house,
Right. Right.
in Oklahoma. That's
Well,
like
yeah.
everybody.
It's like everybody going to Ernest Hemingway's house
Yes, I
in-
did go to Ernest Hemingway's house. At least I stood outside it.
in Key West.
Yeah,
and,
in Key West. And then I ended up at the Tennessee Williams Museum in Key West,
mhm.
which was also like kind of an offshoot or a replica of one of his houses
Mhm.
because he did briefly live in Key West. But I ended up there, and Tennessee Williams is a playwright.
Right.
So he wrote Streetcar Named Desire, if any of our listeners didn't know that.
Mhm.
And then, of course, yeah, I would have loved to have gone into
Did he write
Ernest.
Our Town?
I'm not sure. I think so. I'm not sure. I definitely wanted to go in the Hemingway house. But, I mean, the line wasn't that long. It was pretty long. But we only had like a certain amount of time to do things, and it was raining. So,
okay. Oh, I wanted to go back to that. Streetcar Named Desire,
Mhm.
Glass Menagerie. I
Yeah.
forgot about that one. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
And they made movies out of all of his
They were all
stuff. Yeah,
movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Camino Real and
Camino Real.
Camino Royale. Yeah, yes. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the museum was pretty cool because it had like some of his original notebooks, and then like a lot of his like personal artifacts and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our Town was written by Thornton Wilder. My bad.
Okay.
My bad. What about Laura Ingalls Wilder? Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted. You went to Tennessee Williams' house. Go ahead. Sorry. No, I just had a brainstorm.
Yeah, that was just something that we did instead of going into Hemingway's house because it had started pouring down rain and we didn't want to stand in like an hour-long line outside in the rain. And we had wanted to go to like the Butterfly Conservatory also, but we didn't make it in time. Oh, so where is Laura Ingalls Wilder from? Like, where would
Well,
that
She lived
be?
all over.
She lived in a lot of
They
different
started
places.
off in like Wisconsin,
but I
and then they
think-
moved to Kansas,
I
right?
think her homestead, or I don't know if it was a homestead, but her home in Arkansas, which is where she was living with her husband, Manley, Wilder. I think it was. I want to say it's Springfield, Arkansas. That she was in the Dakotas.
Really? I've been to Springfield, Arkansas. Next time I drive through there, I'm going to have to.
I may be
see.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was where it was because.
I am inadvertently on one of my trips up to visit Joy in Indiana. I inadvertently ran across I drove along the Mississippi River, which is like Mark Twain's thing.
Right.
And I inadvertently ran across Mark Twain's casino in the middle of nowhere on the Mississippi River.
Casino, huh?
Well, it was called the Mark Twain Casino.
Right,
It really
right.
wasn't
So is
his
it? I'm like,
casino.
is
Right.
it literally a literally destination if
Well,
you just name it after somebody?
I don't know, but I guess Mark Twain wrote a lot about the Mississippi River,
Right.
So and he lived in that area, so it was just like a really cool,
Right.
just inadvertently going along the Mississippi and thinking about Mark Twain, and then running across a Mark Twain casino.
Right. Well, and I think like taking a riverboat cruise up the Mississippi or something, that would be especially like with the paddle boat cruises that they have now, you could take.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be kind of cool to see that because they talk a lot about that history on those cruises and stuff.
Yeah.
And that would be really cool. I thought I remembered also in Key West, Hemingway used to go to, was it Joe's Bar? Was that what it was called? I think so. That was where he liked to drink. And that bar is still there. So
there's another, I was looking on these literary book lists, and there are a few places that Hemingway liked to go and drink.
yeah, I think Hemingway liked to drink.
Yeah, Hemingway liked to drink a lot. Speaking of literary destinations, what would be your bucket list literary destination?
Ooh.
For
That's
one of
hard.
your favorite authors, or just where you think would be cool?
Well, I hate to be, just beat this dead horse over and over again, but going to Japan because I love Shogun. Going to Japan and seeing Japan would be a really cool one, I think.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where else. I mean, wow. I was recently in Paris and got to see Notre Dame Cathedral. Didn't get to go inside. I would definitely like to go back and see that,
Oh, I bet there's a lot more in Paris.
Oh
too.
gosh, yes, because there's so many famous authors that are from Paris or who wrote about Paris. Victor Hugo being prime among them. And so I think seeing some of those things would be really cool. I love Dan Brown and all of the Da Vinci Code stuff.
Yes.
And so I think
Yeah.
going to Barcelona,
following his path
and
books.
following
would
his
be
path
cool.
in some of his books. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I just realized that when we were talking about authors from Texas, Kristen and I follow Ruby Dixon around, and she's
Oh my
actually
God,
from the
she's
Dallas
from-
area.
Right.
She's from Fort Worth.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
her
so,
but her
I
stories
live-
are her stories,
stories
are
are
all from
set in Texas
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
One
they
of-
are.
So there's like
So
I
her
thought they
ice
were all
planet-
out of
Well,
space.
she's got more than one series. So
Okay.
her ice
Yeah.
planet's in outer space. You can't go there. But the other one that's like the dragon
Mhm.
one
it's set in Dallas.
is set
isn't it?
here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
Tulsa and surrounding cities.
And she
So,
mentions the colony.
yeah, she goes. One of the characters goes to the colony,
Okay.
to the post office that was down the street from a house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so we live in like a
swim in White
a
Rock Lake.
literary. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't see that being a huge fan destination, but
Well, since Kristen and I are
except for
fangirls,
Kristen
Yeah.
and Amber.
Yeah.
since we're fangirls,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right. I'm trying to think. Gee, where else? There's so many. I mean, obviously the Harry Potter books, but so much of that is in the
King's Cross Station.
well, yeah, King's Cross Station. You know, you could do some of that stuff, but so much of that stuff is
Is
in
in
the
their
mythical,
world, yeah.
mythical world.
Okay.
So,
Well, like speaking of London, the Globe Theatre.
right.
Like as an English teacher, that would be like the
Stratford on
ultimate,
Avon.
Yeah, those would be like ultimate destinations,
Right.
which Jason has done. I'm so mad.
Well, maybe we'll just have to go the three of us. Then.
Yeah, right. Like he's already been to all that. I mean, not that he.
What
wouldn't
about
go
you,
again.
Kristen? What would be your travel destination if you had a literature?
and it's really hard because I read a lot of sci-fi and a lot of stuff that's not on this planet and a lot of authors that are still alive. So, I don't know. House of Seven Gables would be a kind of cool house to go see because that's a real house, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, you piqued my interest with Little Eagles, Little House on a Prairie.
Yeah.
I was over here Googling. There's actually, I think, a couple of houses that, yeah. But I mean, I'd go see those because I love going to like those homestead museums.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
So I mean, for me, I guess if I was going to do like a author exploration, maybe it would be cool to go to like Tolkien's house or one of those favorite authors of
Okay.
mine.
Uh-huh.
If they had like a house or a writing place or
Mhm, mhm.
I mean Emily Dickinson's room.
Right. Right.
Just
Yeah,
to
that would
be
be cool.
standing in the room that she like
Right.
hid away and looked out the window at while she was writing her poems. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm really like macabre, but like, I don't know, just to be in a room of solitude.
Baltimore,
Well, I know. I was thinking about
Edgar
Virginia
Allan-
Woolf as well.
Allan Poe's
Same kind of
house.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe's house. Yeah.
And then I've also wanted to go to like Long Island, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and go
Okay.
to because West Egg. It's not actually called West Egg,
Right.
but they exist.
Right.
The
right.
eggs do exist.
Yeah.
They're just not called the eggs
Right.
in
right.
New York.
Yeah. There's. I mean, you can't have, hundreds of years of books without having hundreds of destinations like that would be
Mhm.
interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah. Oh, and I think most of them don't even exist because only some of these places we've been so fortunate to keep preserved.
Right. Well, that's
Yeah.
true. And and some of the things from literature like Gone with the Wind. I mean, you could go see an antebellum plantation house,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't go see Tara because it's fictional.
Right.
So,
exactly.
And even, if you go to some of the things in England or Scotland or whatever, a lot of it is fictionalized, like the what they call the the place where the Outlander where she fell through the rocks. That
Oh,
place
yeah.
doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but there are other places similar to that that you
Craig
could.
Nadoon.
Craig Nadoon. Yeah, it's correct.
Mhm.
I was thinking something Nadoon, but I couldn't remember. But
Okay.
yeah.
Off topic, Kristen. Well, kind of like back to what Kristen said about Emily Dickinson. There is an Emily Dickinson museum in Amherst, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
So, when we go to Boston,
There
there's
you go.
another destination.
Well, depending on how far away Amherst
That's true.
is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, so definitely another bucket list thing that I recently became aware of. There is a Jane Austen festival every year. It's a week-long festival in Bath, England.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
this year is going to be Jane Austen's 250th birthday.
No way.
Yeah. So they're planning like big things. And I wish I had known that so I could have saved like a few years so I could go to this week-long festival in September.
That's cool. So, I think you had sent me something about that Pride and Prejudice tour.
Yeah. Yeah. They have like all kinds of like things going on around her birthday time or different festivals and stuff this year because it's her 250th year.
That's cool.
So this isn't like a literature, well, I mean, it is a literature lovers things, but another thing that I recently became aware of is a concept called book towns.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like a small town that somebody goes in or they like just pretty much turn all of their businesses into different bookstores.
So, like Sleepy Cozy Mystery Town.
Yeah, pretty much. And
so, like
there,
Marfa is like all art, everything, art everywhere.
yes,
They're
and there
book
is
places.
a book town in New York in the United States.
There's not any closer. No.
I know, right? So yeah, Booktown is like, yeah, it has like a lot of bookstores. And the one that I found out about, it's called Hay on Wye in Wales. Another reason to go to the UK. And then there's one in New York, in Hobart, New York, where all the businesses are bookstores. And there's really like not that many in the world. Oh, there is one in Nebraska as well. Brownsville, Nebraska. I guess that's a little bit closer than New York.
That sounds like a cozy mystery town.
Yeah, Brownsville, Nebraska. But yeah, the one that I originally found out about was Hay on Wye, Wales.
Mm.
But there's one in Belgium. There's one in Scotland. There's one in France. There are a couple in France, actually. There's another one in Wales also. But yeah, only 2 in the U.S. Most of them are over in Europe. And then there's one in Japan. The one in Japan is actually called Jimboshio Book Town. So Book Town is part of the name of the...
Okay.
Yeah. So, and these towns have like a lot of book festivals and everything like that. But that's definitely added to my bucket list. Especially if I ever make it up to New York, going to the small book town.
I was just looking online and I found it's called U.S. Nationwide Literary Road Trips.
What?
Yes. And there's several like mapped out road trips based on different themes. So the first one is Bad Boys of Books interactive U.S. road trip map that they have here. And then they have all these, you start in the Northwest and you have Jack Kerouac, Henry David Thoreau, Mark Twain, Washington Irving, Stephen Crane, Benjamin Franklin. And so you
yeah,
could break
New York, Washington, Irving. Yeah.
yeah, so you could break, and then you could break these up into like several different smaller trips, like do, whatever. So then you have in the South, Edgar Allan Poe, Thomas Wolfe, Ernest Hemingway, Stephen Crane. Another stop for Ernest Hemingway. So he was in North Carolina and Florida, or the Keys. And then F. Scott Fitzgerald and Zelda Fitzgerald in Alabama. William Faulkner, and then they, instead of just naming people, they named the French Quarter in Louisiana, in New Orleans, because Tennessee Williams, William Faulkner, Jack Kerouac, and others were down there. Then you have in the West, O. Henry, Witterbiner. Is that how you say that? I'm not sure. Zane Grey, Jack London, who wrote. Yeah.
Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild. Thank you. I was thinking of the wolf. Yeah. I was like, what was it? My brain was saying Lone Wolf. No, it's not Lone Wolf. Let's see. Mark Twain, Ezra Pound, Buffalo Bill, and Theodore Roosevelt. And then in the Midwest, you have Sinclair Lewis, Mark Twain, Ernest Hemingway in Illinois, Kurt Vonnegut, and Zane Grey again. And then you go back to the Northeast. So this is like this whole little route here. Frederick Remington, John Dewey, Stephen King. And so that's just like the bad boys trip. Then there's also a, oh, wait a minute. Ooh, what was that one? Oh, the Pioneering Women Writers trip.
Ooh, that would be
and
fun.
so you have women like Mary Ring, Martha Harding, Edith Wharton, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Louisa May Alcott.
Harriet Beecher Stowe, that's a distant ancestor of mine.
Really?
Yes.
Have you read Uncle Tom's Cabin?
I have, yes.
I have too. I thought it was a really well written book. Julia Child. Who else we got? I mean, it just goes on and on. Margaret Mitchell.
Now,
Zora
Julia
Neale
Child
Hurston.
wrote cookbooks now.
Yeah. It's a book. they're listing it, so I'm okay. I'm gonna go with that. Harper Lee, Eudora Welty, and Helen Keller. So, and then they've got Laura Ingalls Wilder. So there's like all Essie Hinton, Georgia O'Keeffe.
Now that's a painter.
Yes, but she authored a book, 100 Flowers, which introduced nature in ways previously unseen.
Oh, I might have to get that book.
So there's a whole lot. I mean, there's more and more and more. And there's actually a wagon tour. Kristen, this one's for you and me, probably. Wagon tour for Laura Ingalls Wilder fans.
Wagon tour. Do we get to go on the trail from Wisconsin?
It goes from Pepin, Wisconsin to Independence, Kansas, Walnut Grove, and Spring Valley, Minnesota, Burr Oak, Iowa, DeSmet, South Dakota, and Mansfield, Missouri.
How many days is this tour?
I think you make your own tour out of it. So
okay.
You
I
just
was like,
hit all the destinations.
going on a wagon.
And I was thinking that she was in Arkansas.
I know.
I was thinking she was in Arkansas, but this is saying it was
Get like a
that she was in
air-conditioned
Mansfield,
wagon.
Missouri.
Yes,
So
that's her last home.
okay, I don't know why I was thinking Arkansas. And then there's a interactive map of war writers. And
I'm good on that one. I'm just kidding.
There's James Fenimore Cooper, James Madison, Carl Sandburg, Juliet Gordon Lowe, Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, William Faulkner. So yeah, I mean, these are very, very interesting. The website is authoradventures.org/National Literary national-literary-road-trips /
That you're gonna put on the website.
I will put it on the
'Cause
website.
that
Yeah,
was
and I will
Absolutely.
send you the one that I looked at. It's
That was
from
really cool.
heyimreading.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just kind of doing, while you were talking about your list there, I just looked that up. I was kind of looking to see if there were some more literary places that I just hadn't thought of, because I'm just kind of
And I will blog
I'm
about
kind of
my
having a
bucket
day
list
today,
that I
and
made.
yeah, I'm not thinking of things, aren't coming to the top of my head today, so
Yeah, it's just one of those days. I mean,
yeah.
I've
I mean,
definitely
like
had
I
one
said,
of
I
those
went
days.
to the obvious one for me, which would be Japan, because I've always been fascinated with Japan, and mostly because of that series of books. So, there are other places as well, like Hong Kong was very fascinating to me,
Mhm.
because Clavel also wrote stories about the founding of Hong Kong, and later in the future, like in the 60s, set in the 60s in Hong Kong, because all of those stories kind of intertwine together, and they go through,
Yeah.
multiple generations. I tell you, somebody else, another writer, who writes about destinations, is James Michener, and he is so well researched that when you read something like Hawaii or Alaska or Texas or Poland or whatever, you are drawn into that area, that wherever that location is, and it's over time. And he puts a lot of historical references in there. So those are, if you're a fan of his writings, those are also some great literary trips to go see the things that he wrote about. Herman Wouk, The Winds of War and War and Remembrance. His books, both of those books, bounced all over the world during the time leading up to and during World War II. So there's lots of stuff there. The Philippines, Japan, Europe, London, Russia, the U.S., Pearl Harbor. There's lots of things there to go check out as well. So, and not just those authors' homes where they wrote or whatever, but the actual locations that they wrote about, and because they were so well researched, they knew what they were talking about. So those are kind of fun to see, and especially if you've read the books and you know those books well or whatever. It's kind of interesting to go see those things.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to New Orleans, and just like going to like the different places that Anne Rice described in her books, like probably my favorite book that she's ever written was The Vampire Lestat, which is like
Right.
the second book in the Vampire Chronicles. And, just like going to the cemetery and just the different things that she described, like I really felt like, well, because it has always been on my bucket list to go to New Orleans, but definitely from a literature standpoint, it made me want to go back and reread the books.
Right. And there, speaking of that book, Lestat spent time in, was it Paris?
Yes.
Well, and
Him
the
and
theater,
Louis
the theater of the macabre or whatever, the
spent
theater of the
time in
vampires.
Paris, yeah.
And there was a what was his name? Robertson, I believe was his name. I saw his grave at the cemetery, at the Père Lachaise cemetery in Paris. His name was, I think his last name was Robertson, and he used to put on, he did a theater show. He was actually like a scientist, a physicist, I believe, but he liked to put on these macabre shows for people, and he developed this technique of projecting images from a backlit images onto a film to make it look like there were ghosts and things, on the stage and stuff. And, so that it reminded me of that theater, well, they were obviously, in that book they were killing victims on stage.
Yeah.
But that whole time period, that there was all kinds of things like that going on.
Yeah, everybody was into the macabre then.
Yeah, absolutely. The occult and
Yeah.
I guess another literature destination that I went to without meaning to go to just within the last year was Metropolis, Illinois.
Metropolis, Illinois.
Metropolis.
Metropolis, Superman.
Oh, I thought Metropolis was supposed to be New York City.
No.
It was not? What?
It's supposed to be like a Chicago-y.
Okay. I always thought it was New York City. I don't know why.
I mean, well, Metropolis
Obviously, I'm not a huge... No, I really thought it was New York City and Gotham City was...
Gotham is New York.
Gotham is New York? Okay. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day, even when you're 60 years old. So
yeah. So I went
Okay.
to the Superman destination in the United States, which
So
is
there's
a
an
comic
actual
book but graphic
there's an
novel.
actual Metropolis.
Yeah, there's a Metropolis,
Okay.
and and it's full of like Superman things and Superman
Interesting.
museum, Superman statues.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like the town really took it and made it like a
Their thing.
Superman
Okay.
lovers
Okay.
thing,
Okay.
kind of like Forks, Washington. They
Right.
really took it and like everything is painted to look like Superman, red and
Wow.
blue, and
Okay. All right.
Like when you were talking, I was like, man, I know I wrote like down in my notes another place that I've been to lately, but Kristen definitely threw me out there with the whole Hobbit thing because I didn't even think about, oh yeah, I did go to the Hobbit Cafe, which is, something that I like to do is look for like themed restaurants and cool things to do like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to open my own Edgar Allan Poe themed restaurant.
There you go.
That'd be
There
fun.
you go.
Jason and I did I think it was last year we went to an Edgar Allan Poe themed speakeasy.
Really?
Yeah, and it was they had actors performing his works at the speakeasy. Yeah,
Okay.
it was one of those pop-up things. So guys, what are we talking about next week?
So next week we're talking about what's in a name.
Oh, so that's
okay.
kind
More
of
literary.
Yeah, because Shakespeare. What's
I
in a name?
I think when we were planning
Well-
episodes, we literally were like, hee, let's put this one after that.
Yeah, probably. We
Maybe.
probably were.
Probably.
Okay,
All
guys. Well, check out our links on our Heard It on the Podcast blog, and I'm going to blog about my bucket list, because
Oh,
when
darn, I just thought of another one too.
What, before we close, what is it?
Pompeii.
Oh.
From the last days of Pompeii.
That's like an actual place, though, too.
Well, it is,
Not just
but
a book.
the book is a
It's a
fictional
fictional-
writing about the
oh
last
my
days of
gosh.
Pompeii.
Hey, they
Sorry,
made a movie about that, too.
That's
I had
not-
to throw that one in there
Actual,
because
like-
it just like occurred to me and I was like, what? How could I forget that? It was a great book. Sorry.
Like,
Okay.
it's literally like a place where people died.
She
I know,
did
it was
go
such
to
a
the
good
catacombs.
book.
Kristen,
Okay.
she did go to the catacombs,
I
okay?
I
know.
went to the catacombs. I went to the cemetery.
I know.
I looked at the tunnel where
You're
where
so more macabre than you thought.
I've always,
Right.
I've
She-
always been
she's
fascinated.
goth.
Yeah.
I've always been
OG
fascinated with
Even though she's wearing a pink T-shirt right now,
Mhm.
and Kristen and I are
You
both
know,
wearing black.
I used to hate pink. I was more black. Yeah. I was.
See, you were goth,
I was.
and then
I'm sorry.
and
my hair was dyed black too.
and if you don't know the joke, you go back and listen to our goth episode. What is goth?
Right.
Yeah.
That's when Cindy discovered that she might have been goth.
So I interrupted the end. I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Okay, yeah, check out all of our stuff. Give us a like and subscribe. Come back and listen again. Tell your friends and send us your own literary destinations that you want to go to.
Yeah, and so
Because we
you
wanna
need
hear
to
from you.
listen all the way to the end because you never know what little tidbit you're going to miss out on.
Right? Okay, guys, we will see you.
See you. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we will see you next week.
I'm going to edit that out.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not.
Bye.
Bye.